Morning. Let's start the movie magic. Every day, I come on here and begin the magic. There we go, magic. People question whether or not we've made it to the moon, whether or not what's on TV is true. I know I'm late, a little late today, but what's funny is, you saw how quickly I did that. I just pressed a button. Now I'm in front of a little kid with a bowl. The magic of Hollywood, the magic of technology that they've had for a very long time. Very long time. This is old technology. We just now get to play with it. So now I can be in front of a little hungry kid with a bowl. I can be anywhere I want to be. It's on TV, so most people will believe it. Let me get ready to go. Let me share this out. Running late, had to help a friend. Good morning. Heaven and Eileen and Gail and Rebecca and Susie and Jeannie. I'm struggling, and David and Stacy. I'm struggling because my eyes, I don't have everything set up. It was a deep conversation. I had to talk to an old friend. Always make time for people. People are important. People matter. What I want to talk about after a great weekend. I had a great weekend this week. Hopefully y'all had a good weekend. It was fun. It was interesting. Had a great conversation. Got one of the members of our community out here talking. Brother Kevin Howard. It's a great video. You guys should watch that if you didn't watch that. We talked about everything. Pretty much hit it all. It was a good video. Really good conversation. You guys should watch that. Am I controversial? Somebody answer that. One of my friends told me yesterday, this weekend, said, your videos are controversial. Are they? I guess the way I view it, I don't think my videos are controversial. I think if you don't read books, it's a whole lot. I think that your mind is lacking some information. I don't think it's controversial. That's what I was told. I was controversial. Am I? Do I say things that are drenched in controversy, or do I say things that that are unpopularly true and they feel like controversy? It's the difference. I think we talk about things that are just unpopularly true, because what's unpopular is what we need to spend most time on. We need to spend time on things that matter, but most people don't know. All right, let me position my head somewhere on right there. That looks good. Movie magic. The world is a stage and we make our own messes. Yes, you are so needed. I'm controversial, Tina, for real? I didn't think I was controversial. When did truth become controversial? I didn't think I was I think that a lot of people are afraid of some things that come up in our conversations. I didn't think it was controversial. I think that people look at it like, disturbs them a little bit. And the people who care will go do their research. They'll realize it's true or it's plausible. And then like, oh, and then we move forward. I don't think it's controversial. Not controversial, but always thoughtful. I try to be thoughtful, Eileen. It's important to say things that are absolutely truthful and don't make them up. We seem to struggle with knowing what's true versus what's true-ish. We have trouble talking about what's fact and what's fact-ish. We have a lot of people who are involved in struggles. I was thinking about this morning. I gotta get set up. A lot of people involved in struggles, and those who lead their struggles are the ones who oppress them. And those are a lot of problems we have. And so a lot of things that they hold to be true, a lot of things that they want to be true, simply are not true. I'm messing around. Somebody move my stand. I'm looking for my stand. But anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope y'all had a good weekend. We make our own messes. Make all our own messes. I want to talk about a few things today. We might actually end up in the transgender space, in prison. Got an issue. Got lots of issues. All the messes we seem to make. So today, what's on my mind is this prison system. My goodness. So there was a good conversation I was looking at on YouTube. They were talking about transgender in prison, and they don't know what to do with the population because there's so many people in prison, they can't really reform anybody. But then again, the way I view it, because I don't think the conversations are what they should be about. I think they drive all the conversations. I think you got two sides, you got the left and the right, and both are led by their oppressors, and they're struggling against themselves. And so I don't think the conversation is about, well, do you take transgender male, used to be male inmates and transfer them to female prisons? I think, and we can look at the article, but to me, I think it's always a conversation. Well, why are there so many damn people in prison? Are these bad people? Or are these people who should be free? Is it just another form of slavery? Did the slavery end and they created the 13th Amendment and they made slavery not about skin color, but then they made slavery all about poverty? The weakest and the most unfit for our society struggling to survive, and they create bigoted struggles on both sides that keep them there. That's part of why I don't play this division game. I don't play this race game, this ethnicity game, because they get dumb people. All right, they get people who believe this stuff all struggled up. Is that a word? I just make that up. They get them all strugglish. They want to go fight something. They get them all riled up, proud of things that they didn't have anything to do with. They were born and accidental. It was an accident. But then they send them off to fight fights against fake enemies. Right? So I don't think our conversation floats around. Hang on. I'm not on YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. I don't think the conversation floats around, what do we do with transgender people in prison? I think the question is, should most people actually be in prison? That's the real question. Because if you can't handle the flow, you can't handle that many people in prison, maybe something's wrong. Maybe you're putting a lot of free Americans and free people in prisons that you shouldn't be. Before we get into that, a lot of great things in the news. We'll just do a brief rundown. I'm already queued up. We're gonna do a brief rundown today. I mean, it's the same thing. It's war, death, destruction. Who is it? Macron. He wants a European army. You know, and it's stupid, dumb, right? We evolved past that a long time ago. His brain isn't doing what it needs to do like everybody else. But I don't think he really controls his country. So he's trying to make a new arms race, and the EU needs a military, he thinks, because Russia's coming to get him. And Russia, meanwhile, ain't coming to get nobody because Russia doesn't really care. Russia's got his own problems. But Russia doesn't exist, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'd like to spend time on the fact that Russia does not exist. China doesn't exist, neither does America. Just a bunch of borders and dummies fighting over things that they murdered somebody else to take. We're just a crazy civilization lost on this planet, lost in common sense. So, all right. I don't know what's happening on YouTube, so I don't know if y'all can see me or not. I can't see it, so I don't know. What else is in the news? War, death, destruction, Yemen, Khashoggi. I don't talk about Khashoggi anymore. It's not that I don't care. It's just that Yemen is more important, right? We should be not funneling weapons over there because of Yemen. Another interesting thing was they were talking about Israel's archives. They're saying that Israel has millions upon millions upon millions of seized historical records, legal records, documents from when they stole the land from the Palestinians, and they kept it in the archive and they refused to release it. The people who got in, they saw, and the archivist, is that a word? I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about your king's language. He's not my king. None of them are my kings. None of them lead me. So, but they're holding the records But those who got in and they saw the archives come back and they're saying, we know what's in there because we read a bunch of them before they locked them down. They locked them down. Now you can only get to like 2%. But it's the same old thing. If you can destroy a people's history, you can destroy a people. If you can destroy their deeds and all the historical reference to owning the land, and you can make them disappear. Same thing colonizers always do. Same strategy all across the world. I mean, every country did it. Every group did it. You just destroy their ties to the past and you can build their future. So that was in the news too. But I want to spend a little time looking at this prison situation. So let me show you something. Some of y'all might recognize this. Some of y'all may not. But it's always important to understand why probably 80 to 90% of the people in U.S. prisons are there, which is why you can't deal with the ones you need to deal with, the people who really have psychological breakdown troubles and become violent, and why our nation is made increasingly violent by putting people in prison who shouldn't be there, is because we make our own messes. We make our own messes, and we're divided as a country and probably as a world as to whether or not we want to clean up the mess we make or whether or not we want to keep walking and act like we didn't spill the milk. I think we need to focus on we need to spill the milk. So let me show you something. I don't know if I showed this one before. Y'all know who this is? It's one of my favorites. Why? Because he explains why 80% of the people in U.S. prisons are in U.S. prisons and why they shouldn't be there. Because we make our own messes. This is a detective, by the way. What do you see? So I said detective. Some of y'all looking at him, you're like, oh, that's a white man. And white doesn't exist. Then the rest of you, oh, he said it's a police officer, detective. He's the enemy. Now, he's the reason he explained to you why 80% of the people in U.S. prisons are there. So I'm going to let him talk for a second.
I will tell you, Director Deutch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
That is an answer for a lot of you. Now, can you please?
I refer.
All right, now, can you please?
I refer direct.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute here.
I'm gonna pause. So what's the point? What's the point of that statement? Well, if the drug routes, the drug trade, and the drug problem in America was set up by your CIA that your tax dollars actually pay to hold in place. But by the way, they're a rogue organization that's doing destruction all over the planet, but specifically in America. Right? So I don't think it's much of a topic about why, and we'll look at the exact video, but why a particular transgender person wants to transfer out of a male prison to a female prison, for the fact that, well, for some obvious reasons. Should people be in prison? If the vast majority are there on an unconstitutional setup of the drug trade in America that gave money to all the gangs, created a crime wave, made scarcity and poverty all throughout a country, and then it ends up in a place where people are so impoverished that they had to break laws which shouldn't have existed, because most of the laws are written for corporations to keep you from actually making money and providing for your family. And then so you go do a robbery, you steal, you're raised in an impoverished area. All because the CIA created a drug problem for America. That's not controversial. It's not, there's no kind somebody who said that was controversial. It's not controversial. It's a fact. It's what they've always done. They create a problem and they don't have to pay for it. We pay for it. The poor Americans, the poor people around the world, the poor people walking here from Honduras. This is why I always say we make our own messes and we never clean them up, because you get really silly people on either side because they think it's controversial. And it's not controversial. It's just a fact. People grow up poor in our country in scarce environments and they do what they have to do. Oh, you know what? There's something else kind of came to mind. The UN went to the UK. Did y'all see that? The UN went to the UK to study the poor towns in the UK. I forgot the name of it. We can look at that too. Why in the world would the UK, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, have one of the most impoverished towns on the planet? Because that's what colonizers do. It's hard starting war all over the planet, which is why the CIA funneled all those weapons in. And the help of the Clintons through Arkansas. Was that little town, Mena, Arkansas, where they flew the drugs in? And Bill Clinton said, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Mena, Arkansas, is that a town? I didn't know that even existed. I didn't even know what that is. Is that in Arkansas? They created the drug problem and kept slavery going. Why? Because they're funneling weapons. What was it? Funneling weapons. The drug cartels in Colombia, if I remember right. That's why they did it. Yes, Tanya, and it's all profitable. It is all profitable. We make our own messes and we refuse to clean them up because we struggle with knowing our history. We struggle with knowing what came before. It's why they like to delete history. That's why Israel's censoring all the history of the Palestinians, because you can get away with murder and crime. You can get away with destroying a nation and making a prison system full of 80% of people who none of them should actually be there. None of them. None of them. Because all of the environment that they created, all the culture that creates why they shoot so many white kids and why they shoot so many black kids, it's not a police problem. I keep telling people, we need to train the police. This is what happens when you get involved in a struggle and you let your oppressor lead the struggle. Then you say things like, we need to retrain the police. No, we don't. We broke the Constitution. We have governments and political parties, and it's not even governing us anymore. I'm tired of calling them the government. They're not there for us. They're there for corporations. They actually made the mess. They are the reason why America's a violent country. Nope, it's not the guns. I know people want to get on the guns. That's the guns. We need gun control. No, it's not the guns. They broke the nation. And who is they? I don't know who they are. They use the CIA because the CIA is just a tool. You can use the CIA like G.I. Joe to save people. Or you could just let the CIA keep being used for corporations to make profit. But you get involved in a struggle. You put the people who are affiliated with the groups who created the oppression, Democrats and Republicans, tell you how to struggle. I don't know what that is other than self-destructive. I have no idea. Why would you do something so stupid? I'm going to go back and play one more time. I'm just play one more time. Because these are videos that'll disappear.
Tell you, Director Deutch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
Corruption. Dirty people. People making problems because they want to make money. Making problems because they make a lot of money from. I don't think it was slave labor. To be honest with you, I don't think that's the reason why. I think that we are just, when corporations run your government, you create a problem and the other corporations flock in to try to figure out how to make money on that problem, right? Like a problem comes up, like you go to your legislator and you say, I got a problem. I need to fix this problem, right? And the legislator looks at you like, oh, we're going to fix that problem, baby. And they pick up the phone and they call the corporations. All right, listen, we got a problem. We're going to bid this out to industries. Who can make money off of putting a whole bunch of poor people in prison? And the lot companies come in, the milk companies, the corn, people growing the food, people making the uniforms, they all flock in. You know, people got gardening they need to do like the Clintons, so they need some slave labor to go out there and work in the yard. And all these industries flock in, and after a while, you don't even know why it even started. And usually that start is always something where you're ignoring somebody's rights. That's what, right? That's why you, again, I said this weekend, you have a First and a Second Amendment for a reason. All right. The First Amendment is so you can say your hate speech. Why? Because your hate speech matters. Because when you feel pain, you say things you may not mean, but you're supposed to say them. So the rest of us logical people can look at your pain and figure out, well, how do we fix the problem? So other people don't get created in that pain. So the First Amendment is very important. Free speech. You never shut up the oppressed. You never shut up anybody, no matter what their skin color, where they were born, no matter what their religion. You let everybody speak. Let that hate speech flow so we can actually work on and fix problems so you don't multiply. But that's why they censor the hate speech, so it multiplies. And then you got the Second Amendment. But like, again, I'll say it again. I'm keep saying it to you. I see all these gun control posts. The Second Amendment is there, not for fishing, not for hunting, not for your crazy neighbor. It's for one simple reason. When the people who destroyed this country and did the whole genocide and wanted to put some borders up and make a land, they realized that they didn't want to be ruled anymore. They didn't want to be owned anymore. And so if their government ever became corrupt and started writing laws, they had the ability to say no. That's what that's all about. But y'all are fighting, again, struggling. But you put your oppressor as the leader of your struggle. This is why America's broke, and it ain't no joke. America is broke, poor, GDP going through the roof, poverty going right along with it, because corporations are looting your country through your Democrats and Republicans that are going to save you because they own all the chairs. Like I was trying to explain, it's not about them buying the political parties. They do that too, but it's the chairs that are bought. That's why every president you get in, they all do the same thing. You're like, no, we got to get rid of Trump. We got to get rid of Obama. And it's like, y'all know they're all doing the same thing, right? Like war with Iran. Where did that come from? Like, oh, we got to stop Trump. He's going to start a war with Iran. I'm like, dummy, weren't you just the one that told me I need to vote for Hillary Clinton who wanted war with Iran? But he's just doing sanctions. It's horrible. So sanctions are worse than war. Sanctions are worse than a no-fly zone, huh? It's just different. Why is it different? Different person. Same plan. How's that different? Same damn thing. This little game we used to play in Sesame, what is it? Y'all remember Sesame Street? We used to play that game. A lot of little games in Sesame Street. Some of y'all failed at that game. One of these things is just like the other. One of these things just isn't the same. Now it's time to play this game. And we used to play the games because outside of what it looked like, it did the same thing. Go back to the wall. Well, he wants to put a wall up and stop the Hondurans from coming in. So did Hillary Clinton. Okay? They're all doing the same thing because the politicians don't matter, but people still posting. I watch it all day long. They're posting like their oppressors are coming to save them. Let's get some oppressors to save us. They're affiliated with your oppressors. They're not there to save you. They create all the problems because the problems are profitable. Happy people are not profitable. Poor people are profitable. Why? Because poor people will do anything. A poor person will rob their neighbor, which means you get a job as a legislator. You got something to fight. But happy people are the most useless thing to corporations. They don't want to work. They don't want to come to work and do the TPS reports. They don't want to drive a fancy car. They don't want to buy a bigger house. They don't want to live within their means. They want everything unsustainable. Why? Because unsustainability is how corporations make money. Let me know when you figure that out. They make money through unsustainability. In fact, not only that, I'm going to go back to one thing Brother Kevin said this weekend. No, it wasn't Brother Kevin. Ann said it. Ann in the comments section. I don't know if she's here this morning. What did she say? I have to think about it for a minute. He said corporations are job creators. Job creators. What's the purpose of a job? Should everybody have a job? I think the Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. You know, the Bible didn't mean job, by the way. I'm going to let you know that. The Bible didn't mean go work for massive corporations that are murdering people, that are all complicit in a nation whose GDP is based on war and violence and funneling weapons to kill and rape towns of women. No, that's not what the Bible meant. The Bible said if man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. It means if you don't put seeds in the ground, you don't grow anything, you don't get to eat. That's what it meant. Didn't mean go work for no big corporation, but big corporations are job creators. Job creators. Making a mess and then making profit off the mess. Making an environment where people can't take care of themselves. They don't have the land. They don't know how to grow the food, or they can't grow the food. They can't grow their medicine. You ban their medicine. So what do they got to do? They got to go get a job. They got to go solve their problems because their kids like to eat. They like to eat. They like fresh, clean water. Creating a mess and making an industry out of the mess. And then when all of this comes collapsing in on down, we have no idea what went wrong. And to me, it's just simple. That's why I always ask people every day, tell me a hard problem in the world. Please tell me something hard. Because every time I look at a problem, if you go back to the root cause, it's always a CIA. It's always a CIA making a problem, which fixing something for them. And then all the other industries come in and they all start making money off of the problem too. We make our own messes. And I do want to go and show you the actual thing that led me down this, the actual discussion about if transgender people should be transferred in prison. Another argument. Like I said, we probably make the mess. It's only a mess because we made the problem. None of those people should be in there. Of course we can't take care of them. The Constitution, our government wasn't even designed to have a military industrial complex. We don't have the money for it. We don't have the means to take people who don't belong in a place and put them in cages. There's nothing more unconstitutional than requiring that the laws break their ability to support themselves so they go get jobs, and the ones who can't get jobs have to become criminals. We don't even have a facility for that. They made all of that up. All of that is completely unconstitutional from the top to the bottom. So here, let's just check this out.
Comes after the federal judge has ordered prison officials in Illinois to reconsider a transgender woman's denied request to be moved to a women's prison. It comes after the inmate took legal action against the state's correctional department, claiming that she's treated like a sex slave in men's facilities. 26-year-old Dion Strawberry Hampton is currently serving a 10-year sentence for burglary. She says she's faced sexual abuse in all 4 of the men's prisons she's been held in. Hampton has had her previous request for transfer denied and argues that she would be safer in a women's prison.
First, I want to chime into something real quick. First of all, they don't give a damn about none of that. They could care less that some woman is being raped in a prison. Your leaders don't care. They act like they care. They don't care. And the evidence of that is, like, what is the life expectancy of a transgender person in a male facility in America? It's not very long. The rape expectancy is going to be very short. Not life expectancy. It's going to be very short. It's like the life expectancy of somebody, I don't know, a woman, let's say a 12-year-old girl in a third world country that America, France, Britain, and the UK is funneling weapons to the warlords in that country. Her rape expectancy is going to be the same rape expectancy of a 15-year-old in that country, in her little town. That's why I know they don't care, because they don't do anything about it. Rape is good in other countries. They could care less. So first of all, I just want to make sure, because I know you're thinking your wheels are turning like, oh, what are my Democrats going to do about it? What are my Republicans going to do? They don't give 2 damns. That's number one. Don't give 2 damns. All the real problems are for us to solve. So let it finish up.
Her lawyer has praised the federal judge's intervention.
This is an important step, not only for Strawberry, but in general for transgender women imprisoned across the nation.
Well, the Department of Corrections, which is responsible for the supervision of inmates, says it makes every possible effort to safeguard vulnerable prisoners.
The Illinois Department of Corrections maintains a strict zero-tolerance policy towards all forms of sexual abuse and sexual harassment. The department carefully considers housing assignments and the unique needs of offenders who identify as transgender.
Well, we took the opportunity to discuss prison policy in America towards transgender people with rights activist Anthony Rogers-Wright and the political commentator Steve Malzberg first.
Trump administration recently loosened and changed regulations that came down under the Obama administration. They say that if you're judged on what you are based on your biological sex. Okay, so this person that we're talking about in Chicago, in Illinois, would be judged a male under the Trump administration. And the reason it was changed is because female prisoners in Texas had a similar situation and they sued. They didn't want a transgender male who said he was a woman coming to their prison. They said it was an invasion of their property, that you keep everybody safe, but you don't start making accommodations, special accommodations.
Gender dysphoria is accepted by the American Medical Association and American Psychological Association as distress from gender assignment at birth.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop for a minute, because I don't like fake news on my channel. I don't like no fake news, so right. That's why I like to say Trump a lot, like to say Obama a lot. Trump doesn't do anything, doesn't decide anything. He's a puppet. He's a warm body in a chair. That's all he is. Stop focusing. The news, if Trump were important, they wouldn't mention Trump in the news. If Obama were important, they wouldn't mention Obama in the news. These people are just warm bodies in chairs, and they cause conflict. And so I don't like either one of these guys, by the way. So let me, I don't like the guy that just spoke, and I don't like the guy that's speaking now. I disagree with almost every damn thing they say. I don't even know their names, don't want to know their names, don't know their parties, don't know nothing about it. Everything, I feel foolishness come out their mouth. So yeah, so he said the Trump administration overturned. So all I hear is some guy in a warm chair did something to make you mad. That's all. That's all you got to get. That's it. Warm chair, guy did something to piss you off, and then you're going to get somebody else to put another butt in that chair, and it's going to do something else to make you happy, and it's going to make the other side mad, and then they can put another warm butt. Like, it's just sustainable, right? It's like having a struggle that's not really a struggle. It's like having a struggle and putting the oppressor above your struggle and to tell you what to do, to tell you what to be upset about. They just keep it going. Why? Because they don't want to take down the prison system. They don't want you to actually talk about the problem. And one of the critical problems, not only should none of those people be there, the vast majority shouldn't be there because they didn't break any unconstitutional law, and the CIA set them all up. 80% of the people are all set up by the CIA. But the second part is gender doesn't even exist, man. Come on, stop. It's time to stop. It's time to stop with this whole, there are 7 genders, there are 2 genders, there are 5 genders, there are 20 genders, there are 22 genders. Listen, let me explain how biology works to you. All right, let's explain how biology works to you. There are some babies that are born with both sexes. What are they? There's some baby that are born with both sets of genitals. What are they? There's some men that are born with boobies and not that, and the other and testicle and not that, and others got 2 penises and everything. Yes, this happens all the time. Why? Because God sends them to you that way. That's my belief. You don't have to believe that. I believe that. I believe because God wants to try to raise you and teach you to not be stupid. There's no such thing as male and female. But they play this game on people. You are what you are. Nobody knows the hell you are. How many genes actually regulate all the things around what they call sex and gender? Dozens, if not hundreds. We have no idea what everybody's a spectrum of something, right? And the doctors pick and choose. The kid's born, they're like, oh, it can be a male or female. Which one do you want? And they cut off this or that or whatever, and the baby grow up and is flipping out. So this is all true, okay? This is all true. That's what I'm saying. It's not controversial with me. I have no controversy. I like science, I like religion, and I just like facts. And I like things that are plausible, and I like history. I don't like to play these games. I don't like to get involved in your little tiddlywink struggle. Like, there we go, struggle! Power! And like, no, I have no interest in that. All I know is he shouldn't be there in prison. She shouldn't be there in prison. And the vast majority of the prison industry shouldn't even exist, because it was created by your government to create artificial scarcity, to make a lot of money for corporations and give them power. Stay focused on the root problems. Ignore the minutia conversations. But this was an interesting one, so I thought, let it keep going.
So this isn't just something that people are doing for fun. This is a recognized medical condition based on science, based on research, and based on study. So it's very, very important that we train these prison facilities better, just like the entire society needs to be trained and more informed about the very specific issues that are affecting transgender people nationwide, free or incarcerated.
20 people.
Stop. Biological, not choice. Biological, not choice. No one chose that. Who would choose to want to be ridiculed in a society full of bigots who hate them? Who? Nobody chooses that. God chose that. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna go back to that. God chose that, and because God made babies, right? Like, I grew up in church. I know that. I said God made every baby exactly perfect, how they're supposed to be, and God gave them that need to crave after that thing that you don't like. And I think God did it to teach y'all. But first of all, biological, not choice.
20 people. How much money do you want to spend? How many special provisions you want to make in a system that probably doesn't have enough money in the first place for 20 people? You need to keep everybody safe, but you can't start making special provisions to anybody who says that they feel like they're a woman when they're born a man, could be classified as transgender, whether they mean it or don't mean it. I mean, you have to consider the masses as opposed to the 20 people involved.
See, I did not talk about the problem. I ain't talking about the problem. Not even now we on money. We can't afford all these people in prison. Let them out. We can't afford it too. Let them out. We can't afford it. They're just Americans. They didn't break any real laws that are constitutional, but we can't pay for it. We can't. If you let them out, you only have like 8 people in prison, then you can like solve everything. Here's my belief. If Reagan didn't destroy mental illness facilities, I forgot the name of the law, if he didn't blow that away, we wouldn't have had a crime wave. If the CIA didn't make the drug trade in America, we wouldn't have had a crime wave. We make our own messes. We don't talk about the mess. We walk right over it. I'm sorry, I got stevia coming out of my mouth. I have stevia in my coffee. Yeah, natural coffee. Anyway, we won't go through that. Sugar kill you. Sugar is the cause of cardiovascular disease, which is murdering you almost as quick as people getting out of the prison system who shouldn't have been in the prison system, who are now violent because they're in the prison system, and they hate the government, hate you, and they can't get a job because they just got out of prison, and so they got to steal from you, and it makes you upset. The only thing that kills you faster than that probably is sugar. Stop eating sugar. I forgot where I was. But I look at these things and I kind of laugh at them because they go back and forth and they don't actually talk about the problem. They don't talk about the solution. And this is how they fool you with these fake struggles. So he's just going back and on talking about some money or something. None of that matters.
That's a very, very dangerous mode of speaking. I happen to be from what is referred to as a minority class, and just because white people are in the majority does not mean that as an African American or a Latinx person that we.
All right, hold on, hang on. He's about to pull the card. Y'all see the card coming? He got the card. He got the card ready. Got his wallet ready. If you get into a bad discussion, we got to pull out something to bring out some guilt. About to pull the card out. About to get the, you're going to pull the minority card. You can pull the race card. Watch this. So like I said, I have different perspectives. When I grew up, there was a different minority in my community. I know, let's talk about America as a whole. Who's the minority? No, I don't want to talk about that because that's fake news. None of that matters. You don't care about the whole world. You care about your community. I grew up in Chocolate City, right around DC. Guess who was the minority? It wasn't me. It was not me. I did pretty well. I went to school. I didn't have to get beat up. Shoot. Did I ever get beat up? I didn't get beat up. I got jumped once, but like 10 guys, scarce gang running around. It actually was just fun. They weren't trying to hurt nobody. They were trying to jump me into their gang, but that's not where I'm going with that. The minority was what y'all call white folk. It was called Asian folk, Hispanics. In my area, they were the minority. And in my area, they were oppressed. Okay? So I have a very different perspective. I think that everybody is the same everywhere. You got different type of communities everywhere. But anyway, he's about to pull the race card. Here's what happens when you get into a jam, because this guy mentioned money. And instead of this other dude realizing, oh, but there's no money problem because the prison system shouldn't exist, he jumps right into the pulling the race card.
We should be subjected to white supremacy. Secondly, it's hard for me to have
supremacy.
A lot of
what on
sympathy.
earth are you talking about? What on earth are you talking about? White supremacy.
If I could just finish, it's hard for me to have sympathy for the prison system not having enough money when they were able to donate hundreds of millions of dollars to the Donald Trump campaign.
Oh, and now we're on to Trump. Why? Because Trump has to be racist. That's just how all of this goes. They get everybody, because they try to tribal up, right? He talked about money, and that gets his tribe over. He's talking about race. That's supposed to get his tribe over. Get everybody in the struggles that are manufactured. Pointless. Nothing you're ever going to solve. White supremacy. I always love that topic because I find it interesting. I was a black supremacist growing up. Why? Well, I used my black privilege in a black high school where the kids were shipped in from Southeast DC, one of the most dangerous areas at the time. DC was the murder capital of the United States, and they'd ship the kids into our good suburban schools because they thought that we were going to help them. And that's not how it goes. That unfortunately, we descended into just, what's the name of that movie where that teacher with the light skin from European went into the little poor ghetto and she started teaching? The name of that movie, I forgot the name of it. That's what it was like. It's like Welcome to the Jungle. That's what happened. Because then all of our bullies had to become real inner city bullies, and because they had to deal with the inner city guys. And where I first saw some of my first guns in school, and crack cocaine is a thing, and met people. Yeah, one of my friends His dad left and mom's on crack cocaine, and so he had to deal drugs to actually feed his sister, his little sister. So anyway, we get involved in these discussions that are pointless. White supremacy, what are they talking about? Somebody sent me a good video this weekend I watched, which was deep. And I have my position. We all have supremacy. And we always use all of our own supremacies in our own way. We all have our own privileges. But there's a little something more specific here. What was it, in the 1800s he's talking about? Well, I don't know if this is what he's talking about. I know when most people use it, it's used as a word to dominate a conversation and make you feel bad because of your skin color, which is really stupid because race doesn't exist. But the scholarly discussion down that road goes down into the 1800s, where they wrote a law that basically prevented, well, it created race. Race never existed. Before the 1800s in America broke the whole world, when nobody gave a damn about your skin color, they actually wrote a law that actually broke the race. I'll put the link out there. You can actually watch the lecture. It was like a 45-minute lecture. I don't have a life, so I watch these things. It was from a legal perspective. But the interesting part is in 1952, they destroyed the concept of race in law. In 1952, I think they wrote the next law, which destroyed it. So I hate this conversation. That's why I want to move on. I don't even want to talk about it. But the reality is it's a thing, and people pull it out. When you don't have anything to fight about, you don't actually have any good points. You make everything emotional. And when I look at this, I just see emotion everywhere. People have a prison system. Prison system shouldn't exist. Make it go away. The laws are unconstitutional. Delete the laws. There's nothing really else to talk about. But it becomes tribal, and people fall in. And so nothing gets solved. Everybody stays in prison. Everything gets worse, actually, because that means corporations can continue to write laws to ban survival. All right, I'm looking at some of the comments. There's a bunch of other stuff I looked in the news. I wasn't too excited about anything. It's just war, death, destruction. Of course, Yemen, they're still lying about the war in Yemen. Oh, what is America saying now? Oh, well, the Yemenis are terrorists. Terrorists are taking over. No, they actually live there. The Houthis, they're fighting Houthis and the Houthis. They actually live there. You don't. You're a colonizing force, and you're taking their country. And everybody's backing out of the stop funneling arms to Saudi. In fact, I think the only thing that happened was something kind of faux. The U.S. said, well, we've decided we're not going to refuel your airplane. Sometimes when the camera's on and not looking, we're not going to refuel the Saudi jets that are fighting the war sometimes. That's all the U.S. did, right? That was all about Khashoggi and getting you to vote. It was election time, so they had to say the tough things. Right? Are you noticing you don't see the caravans in the news anymore? You hardly see it. I don't see people talking about it much anymore. Well, it's just election time. He had to be the big thug at election time. We're gonna fight the invasion. Meanwhile, all the pictures are coming back. All you see is little babies and kids and parents, and everybody's just walking, singing songs, eating bread, drinking water, tired. And thank you to the Mexican Transportation Office for allocating in Mexico City buses and trains to help people to get the hell out their city, because they didn't want them in their city. Y'all gotta get out of here. Y'all poor people. We already poor, and actually producing routes. They produced routes that to help the people from Honduras avoid the gang cities, right? To avoid the cartel cities that the CIA helped set up. That the CIA, when they make the drug trade and how it funneled and destroyed South America, is now all these Americans can't grow their own medicine. They got to buy their drugs, and it created all this drug trafficking, which destroyed Mexico. So the Hondurans who are coming out of an American-made mess are going through the countries where the other American-made messes to go around their messes to actually make it to the border, which is going to be another mess. It's going to be a big mess when those people get to that border. Why is it going to be a big mess? Because you're not poor. That's why. It's going to be a big mess when they get to the border because you're on one of two extreme sides. But Jesus hates both of them. And everybody, 70% of the people in this country say that they're Christian, but none of them know any damn thing what Jesus has to say about anything. One of them say, oh, let them in. Yeah, they're not going to become gang members. They're not going to survive like us, like this little kid behind me who just wants a bowl of rice. No, they're going to have to rob from you to eat. So that's what one side wants. And what does the other side want? Build a border and shoot them at the border, Two special sides who fail to put their feet in somebody else's shoes. All right, let me look at the comments. IDF assassinations over the weekend in Gaza. Yes, Terrence, because that's what they do. Then there's no D in IDF. There's no Israel Defense Force. It's just Israel Force. That's all it is. They're just shooting people and they're stealing land. It's a real estate war. It's colonization. It's what all of this stuff is always about, minerals and land. Racism has been enacted and implemented into policy. Politics is the allocation of resources. Black and white means to exclude and include. All right, so a whole lot there. It's foolish of you to suggest we can heal our permanent underclass status without government policies that are just targeted within the redress of recompense, the color of law. Well, no, Tanya, that's not what I say. And am I a fool? Am I foolish? I might be. I might be. To you, I might be. So let me explain this. If the people who are writing your law, the political parties are the ones who are writing the laws, who created these problems for corporations, going to the same political parties who created the laws that people say are racist, I think they're social economicalist. To actually fix the problem is like going to a buzzard and asking it not to eat carrion. Okay, this is my point. My point is that if you actually use race to try to solve a problem in a nation that's all based in money and greed, you're never going to get it solved. That's why they give people the racial narrative, because it means that this side, a group up over there, that side groups up over there, and the corporations make all the money because the people who made the problem don't actually have to solve anything. So step one isn't writing law. It's not step one, because the legislators are not on your side. They're not on my side. They're not on anybody's side. They work for corporations. They're just employees. First step is stop fighting with the other people that are needed to solve the problems, to get rid of all the unconstitutional law, which some of them are socioeconomically based, which treats poor people, whether they're white or black or anything, the same as sub-citizens. That's my point. My point is stop fighting with people that aren't your enemy. My point is get together with people who are also suffering from the same problems all groups are, and then the problem is really easy to solve at that point. Right? It's not about band-aiding the law. It's about deleting the laws. It's about going back to a color of self-determination in a constitutional nation where it is your right to go live your life the way you want to. And corporations can't write laws because it makes a lot of money preying on the poorest, which tends to be what you're talking about, systemic racist nature of some of the laws. How do people end up owning? Oh, I'm finished. I'm not done. Hold on. Last thing, Tanya. Last thing. Anything other than deleting the laws is perpetuating the problem. And to me, that's foolish. To me, we have millions of people in prison that shouldn't be there. And if the people who actually say that they're struggling to fix the problem, never fix the problem, they're lying to you. Your leaders are lying to you. They're the ones who make money on the oppression from the industries. So they're not going to change anything. So if you actually want to change something, you got to change how you think. You got to, certainly, you don't want to look across the line to other poor people and say that they're enemy. That's what I'm saying with that. The struggle has not been shared by other groups. We make up 40% of the prison population and 20% of them deemed brown. Yes, Tanya. And who put them there? The Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, and Bill Clinton. That's the reason why Black lives don't matter and the prison system is full of people who have dark skin. Is because the leaders who define the struggle make sure that the struggle is never won, because they make money from the prison industry. They make money from the war industry. They make money on the struggle. So they'll never end the struggle. That's my point, is people got to pull out of that. I was just thinking about the Ruppert segment yesterday. Yes, Lisa, because it's real. It's real. The government makes these problems. That's how they make messes, and they get paid not to fix them. That's just how it works. You have the link for that? Yes, absolutely. At the end of all this, I always provide the links. And many of us know Gary Webb was suicide. Tanya, we agree on that. Absolutely. Gary did not just kill himself. That doesn't happen. When you got a detective in the LA police force who steps up and says the CIA is trafficking drugs, come on. CIA burns nations. You think they wouldn't take somebody else? I believe that. I believe it's possible. We don't have any proof, but it's possible. It's always about money. And that's my point. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Again, Tanya, it's always about money. If we focus on the money, we can fix the problems. If we focus on the race, it becomes emotional. Always focus on the money. Break the money system, because there are a lot of poor whites that are sitting in prisons too. Right. There are a lot of poor whites that are being oppressed by the system as well. And you need their numbers. You need their support. That's why I'm saying we got to get past all this racial nonsense and actually solve problems going after the money. The reason nobody goes after the money because they make it emotional and they divide the population up. Stop being divided. Look no further than the government and our ignorance of the real backstories, background information, and the law. Educate, evolve, empower, enlighten. Exactly, Sandra. And it's really that simple. It really is that simple. But you never want to get underneath leadership that's causing your oppression to struggle. You don't want to do anything that they tell you to do, because they're going to keep everything going. Until we know who they are, we are shooting darts in the dark. Exactly, Mary. And we don't have to know who they are. That's why I don't really focus on if it's Illuminati, or Trump, Obama, big banks, Federal Reserve. Like, I find all that interesting. The bottom line is, whoever it is, they want money. That's how it works. They did this all for money. So if you live within your means, if you stop doing the things they want you to do, you stop voting for your oppressors, you stop buying from your oppressors, stop working for your oppressors, then it gets really simple. You don't need to know who the enemy is. Whoever's at the top of it is going to be pissed off. And whatever they fight the most, that's what you do the most. That's why they censor things. Anything they censor, you want to pay attention to. That's why they want to censor hate speech. They don't want you to know that there are poor people of all races being oppressed by the same system. The last thing they want is another farmers alliance, where people who actually start to pay attention to the real problems come together. It's just divide and conquer. It's an old battle tactic, and it always works because people fall in. They make it emotional. You make the most sense that I've ever seen and heard so far. Second to Nicole LaBrasha. Okay, I've never heard of Nicole. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm not sure if I make sense. I'm an analyst and I look at things and I don't pick sides. I just look at things and say, you know what? Y'all see the problem right there. That's the root of the problem. If the root of the problem is greed, go after the greed. Ignore all the side effects, ignore all the mid-tier, ignore which communities affects the most. If the problem is the money, go after the money. I mean, that's the old insurance game. People know how to do that. That's all we got to do. Run into the arms of your oppressor because they are going to save you. Exactly, Mary. You never run into the arms of the oppressor. That's not a commercial and it's not fun. You don't want to do that. They're just going to make money keeping everything going. I just wish they picked a good actor instead of the idiot who couldn't even get hired to build a set, Brother Gallant. Yeah. Well, you know what, Gallant, they pick, like I said, I've said it before, they pick the presidents very, very well. Look at the country. You know they're picking them well. You know, they picked Obama well and they picked Trump well because they're captivating charismatic figures to segments of people. As long as the people hate the president or will love the president, it's perfect. Perfect selection. It keeps the people divided. It means you don't have to change anything. You don't have to end the war on drugs. You don't have to take down, you don't have to question whether or not the CIA caused it all. You don't have to have investigations. You don't have to break down you don't even have to release the fact that they know everything about everybody, right? You don't even have to talk about the fact that Jamal Khashoggi, why did he get caught? I mean, why did they catch the guys who murdered him? It's because his Fitbit records everything, right? They don't even have to talk about the secret technologies that Snowden talks about, that everything's being recorded. They're constantly paying attention. They don't even have to address the fact that if you live in a country where all the politicians are being watched, none of them are actually going to do what the people want them to do. Why? Because they got everything on everybody. Like another thing I was looking at, I remember, go back to Germany and France when it was found out that we were actually listening to their politicians. Our NSA was actually pulling data down and tracking their phone calls. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Because if we actually have something on human beings, we can get them to do anything we want them to do. And I say we, it's just not we, not me. I have nothing to do with it. This is all Pentagon and colonizer stuff. But if you know who's cheating on who's lying about this, who's cheating on their taxes, who's doing that in their country, then you can control people with fear. The same way humans begin, they started farming humans a long time ago. You can make people scared, they'll do what you want them to do. And so they pull that data on everybody. You know, but that, you don't see bips or bleeps or any of that in the news. Are your devices listening to you, and who's listening? Who's recording them? Because they control the whole world. And that's why France and Germany and the UK, you're all involved in this too. They got stuff on everybody. You know, I don't think you get to be a president unless they already got something on you. They got something on you, you can be president. If it's good enough to make you do what they want and follow the wars, and this is why all the presidents do the same thing. Doesn't matter who's there, not one bit. That's why I don't care about Trump or removing Trump or impeachment. And none of that has anything to do with the big messes, the root cause messes we made around the world. The things that if we fix, everything bounces back to the way it should be. That's why I call it Dems and Repubs purple pigeon. The right, the left, the blue, it's all BS. It's all BS, Helen, but it's delicious BS, isn't it? It's emotional BS. Like they get people so riled up and emotional. It's the only way you can break an intellectual. It's the only way you can break down critical thought is you inject things like race and religion and science and all of these things. Because if you can keep people fighting other poor people, you don't have to change anything. Problem, reaction, solution, solution, solution. Yes, Ty, and that's how they dominate the world. Be careful with vilifying corporations. The people who control our government and multinational corporations want to take away corporate personhood so that the corporate Congress can destroy organizations that fight big money control. Well, Wendy, I don't think that Congress is fighting any big money control. I don't think anybody in Congress is fighting any of it. I think corporations actually run the Congress and industries run the Congress and quiet hands and international lobbies run our Congress. I don't think Congress is fighting anything. I think in Congress, they do the same thing every single election because their job, their seats have already been purchased. You know, again, if you got an NSA, they know everything about you, and you got a CIA and they're willing to murder anyone around this planet, the Michael Hastings, the Seth Riches, or whoever, all of these people, then when you get in office, you're going to do exactly what your predecessor did. You might say different things, but you're not going to shut down things that people need you to. You're not going to end mass incarceration. You're not going to stop the wars. You're not going to stop funneling weapons that people can cry all they want and starvation and genocide. You're not going to do anything about it. You'll talk about it, but you don't want to actually do it. Privatized prisons are big business. Yes, Victoria, they are. Focus on the money. They're private prisons. They make a lot of money on them, and they're not shutting them down. The Democrats love them. That's why Obama rolled out more prisons than elementary schools, and Trump is rolling out more police than anything else. Obama made the prisons, and Trump's going to fill them. Why? Because they're all on the same team. They work for the same corporations and industries. Modern day horror show. It is, Victoria. It's a horror show, but you know, the great thing about today is we actually can see it, right? Like, it's scary if you can't see it. That's when I'm worried. But when you can actually see it and think about it, it means we can probably do something about it. You know, this is the first time might be in history that we have an internet and we can actually see all of this crap that's going on. Yes, it is neoliberalism. Exactly, Tanya. We agree on that. Absolutely. It's corporate rule. It is corporate rule. And Wendy, I have to disagree. The corporations are not coming to save us. The corporations are actually, they're going to be the ones who end us. Not that they're evil, but their bottom line is the bottom line. And as long as they got to outperform someone else, they're going to keep outperforming. You know, it's like the pharmaceutical industry. It's not that they're evil. They just got to sell drugs. And at a certain point in time, you really don't care who the drugs are killing. You just got to sell more drugs than your competitor. You know, in that competitive society, you know, corporations are going to win and human beings are going to lose. Corporations are not people. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I'll go as far as to say corporations actually shouldn't exist anymore. We've evolved past the idea of competing to make money and outcompete each other. We've evolved past these survival of the fittest type stuff and let the weakest die. We're better than that. That's why Manning was held in isolation for his own protection. Exactly, Yvonne, and that's very true. And in Manning, another one, should not have been in prison. Didn't do anything wrong. No, your government can't have secrets anymore. Why? Because they murder people with those secrets. They haven't earned the ability to have secrets. No government should have secrets. Julian Assange is a hero. WikiLeaks actually paved the way to fix the world. Governments don't have secrets. Good things happen. It's all poorly acted theater. Yes, it is, Victoria. Humans are humans. It's poorly acted, but it works. They don't need to update acting school, right? They don't. Although they do they're tapping into Hollywood more often. They don't have to. People buy it all day long. I look at their posts and I'm like, oh my Lord, we all gonna die. They're gonna starve and kill all of us till we murder each other, and then they all just gonna blow everything up. That's people buy it. You know, if people are watching the show, do you need to change anything? It's like, you ever notice how the sequels are always crappier than the previous one? You know, why in the world don't they put big money into the sequels? They already know you're going to watch it. Why would they put any money into the sequel? The sequel can get steadily worse and worse and worse and worse. If you like the concept, you're going to show up and watch the next one. So they don't invest much into it. They keep the same actors. In fact, they get worse actors. You know, it's emotionally enough and people believe it. As long as people believe it, they don't have to change anything. Can we get all the transgender and supporters to come out to an anti-war protest? Yes, Mary, we can. We can, if we stand for them. This is why I don't pick teams. When you look at everybody's plight and you take everybody's plight on your plate, you can get a lot of people out to a rally. You can get a lot of people to stop buying small electronics and slave labor. That's why I say the First Amendment is so important, you know, because when people can profess their plight and you can accept the fact that you don't control them and you let them live the way they want to live, they'll come out. When you show them that resolving the problem with greed resolves almost all of their problems too, the root cause problems of all of this, they'll come out. But you got to stop fighting with people. You got to stop fighting with the flat earthers. That's why y'all still post about the flat earthers. I don't fight with them. Why would you fight with them? You know, people talking about the direct energy weapon starting fires in California. That's conspiracy. Why would you fight with people like that? What's the point? Right? They agree with what you agree with, that government shouldn't have secrets. Their problems are your problems. What the hell are you fighting poor people for? You got a government that's murdering you, that's destroying ecosystems and the planet we all got to live on through massive corporations and industries, and you want to go fight somebody about flat earth? No. You just say, brother, you know what's possible? The earth might be flat. Why don't you come on out to this rally? Why don't you come on out here and say, oh, one of the things we believe in is government shouldn't have any secrets, you know? And then when they release all the truth, then you can answer the question if the earth is flat. You know, the alien people too. You got something in common with everybody. They all want to know the truth, and they're not being told the truth. And the vaccinators, why would you fight somebody who's scared of vaccines? How does that make any damn sense? You want them on your side too. Say, you know, the problem is why you're forced to take vaccine, because the laws are unconstitutional and they're forcing them in your vein. And the vaccines need to be studied anyway, right? You know, and people agree with that. I can't find anyone who disagrees with that. Yeah, they need to study. There is more testing for headache medicine than vaccines. Hell yeah, they need to study them a little more. But you fight with them. Why? Because I know. You don't know a damn thing. Stop acting like you know anything. None of us know anything. We're all kept stupid. They keep all these secrets from us. Maybe the caravans are just migrants coming to work in the farms. They do every year. And it could be, Mary, like I said, but they manufacture these things because it gets people upset, you know, and every year the migrants walk up. Maybe they just want to be first in line for the spring. They walk up to pick American strawberries and wash their cars because Americans are too lazy to do any of the work, you know, but they make a kabuki theater out of it. And that's why Obama sent troops to the border for the immigrants too. It's just how it goes. We get excited. And that's why I say don't get excited and fall in. Just, okay, well, what's the problem? Why are they walking up here? How about we solve the problem of why they walk up here? How about we stop destroying their nations? And for the ones walking up here, how about we put something down there for them to do? People are walking towards our border. We should be talking about how do we help those people? Not how to put up a border and shoot them, nor just let everybody in. But how do we help the people down there? They're going to be hungry when they get there and they're tired. I think you should look at what Jesus said. What was it? WWJD. What did Jesus do? He fed poor people. When poor people walk to your house, do you say, no, get out of my house. You can't have no water and eggs. Or you say, yeah, I got an egg. Here's an egg. Here's some water. You know, you got the land. Yeah, you can, you know, I got 20 acres. You can put a tent up. Y'all can stay there for a few days and then, you know, get yourself together and y'all. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of people. You got to put yourself in their shoes, but also don't buy into the hype, because all of it was just hyped up for the midterms. Migrants will need to clean up California after the fires. Exactly, Mary. They need to clean up. There's all kind of things. If we destroyed their country, of course we got things that Americans don't want to do that they could do. Absolutely. But they take real problems and they make them political. And that's the problem. That's one of the greatest fights we have, is them taking real problems with the planet and ecosystems and climate change and mass incarceration and forced labor and, you know, all of these things, and they make them political, right? Racism, they make it political. One party's fighting it and the other party loves it. No, that's not true. They both make money off all of it. You know, just focus on the root cause problems, follow the money. I desperately urge people to stop buying and consuming corporate branded logo, everything, all of it. Yes, Amy, because you actually know the problem and you're talking about it, and that's what you're supposed to do. But I got to back away from consumerism. Got to let it all go. Corporations are the problem. That's why you don't have two political parties. You only got one. And that's why they always do the same thing. Corporations run this planet. And who runs them, we don't know. Let me see. I never like your post. I'm sorry, Randy. You know what? I never really see anybody's post. When I go on my timeline, there's so many people on there. That's 5,000 people. And I follow a bunch of pages too. So I'm sorry, it gets buried in. If you need me to see something, just tag me. The fires are a land grab. Makes sense, Amy. That makes sense. Correlating the herd makes sense. Follow the money. If somebody's making money on it, you got it. And that's the problem with having corporations run your government, because you can have a whole real estate industry sitting there like, all right, we're going to buy some land. We got to destroy some houses. Do y'all got any direct energy weapons that you could use that the CIA actually said they had, that they used in Vietnam? Do they have any geoengineering? You know, somebody was talking about that the other day. I forgot who was talking about it. They were doubting that they use direct energy weapons. I'm not saying they did or they don't. It's not my business. All I know is the technology exists and our government is viable. Just focus on that. I think it's that simple. The technology exists, government's viable, and you can fill in the dots. I'm not, you know, and I listened to Danielle was talking about, she lives out in California. She said, but you know what? This is what wildfires do. The fires spray and wind comes and everything's dry and does crazy things, and the fire tornadoes, and just, it seems crazy, but it's really not, and it's kind of spotty. I don't know. That's why I just fall back on the basic point. Government shouldn't have secrets, and they shouldn't be viable. And things would be nice. They can have some nice things, but until then, we can't handle nice things. People with big money have power with money. We, the little guys, have power in a group. Groups are recognized legally as corporations. Well, I don't, you know, Wendy, I'm not sure I care how they're legally recognized, but I recognize that there's power with the people. When you get people together, you got something powerful. It doesn't matter if the people have money, the people actually can make any change they want. And how do I know that that's important? Because the art of war, right? Divide and conquer. As long as you can divide up a population, you can do anything you want to them. That's why I'm all about stop the division, stop the race stuff, stop the religion stuff, stop the anti-science, anti-religion. Get out of that, anti-gender, so get out of that. We need everybody to show up because we all got the same problem. And how do I know that's the most important? Because every time I turn on the news, it's about Democrat, Republican, left, right, Trump, Obama, Clinton, you know, and they're always putting these things out to divide people up. Everything's racism, everything is this, that, and the other. And it's not that any of those things aren't true. It's just they're not significant to stopping corporations from looting the country that we're all going to end up killing each other in, because they're not going to leave anything for people. People really think they own their stuff. They don't, Amy. And what was it? The NDAA told them that too. The one that Obama wrote that said that in a time of martial law, everything Americans own belongs to the American government. They don't even lie to people anymore. You don't own your land, you pay taxes on it, and when bad things happen, they own everything, right? They can come in, they can take your money, they can take your food, they can take your solar panels, they can take your guns, they can take anything they want. They can take your whole damn house if they want. They can occupy it. They can take your car, and if you look at Child Protective Service, they can take your kids. They can take you. That's what all law is. You can send some armed guards to the door and illegally detain you, and don't have to tell nobody where you are. Just say, you know what, this guy kind of terroristic. That's why everybody got the same problem. Everybody. Vaccine companies know the results. That's why they had to set it up that way. Yeah, Amy, and I agree with you. I look at the I forgot his name. I know you know his name. The CDC whistleblower, the manager who actually was responsible for the studies of the MMR, came out and said it caused autism. Now all of a sudden, all these kids getting autism. Now you have all this other correlating information, like the Amish community doesn't have this amount of autism. They don't get the vaccines. And it's just like, okay, they're correlating everybody getting these MMRs at really, really young ages and autism. That's the means to say, stop, study it. You know, he came out and said it. So you don't have to believe him, but then you have all the pile on evidence that makes it very plausible that that is what's going on. I'm not saying that's the case, but it needs to be studied. Why? Because corporations run our government. They make a lot of money on making messes. And then the mess becomes emotional. And then you got people who stand up, but I believe in vaccines. And the other people, I don't believe in vaccines. And I'm just like, you know, it's like a car and airplane. You know how dumb you sound saying like, I believe in airplanes? No, some airplanes fly and some airplanes crash. That's why we don't have no good music, because they killed all the good musicians in the 50s, 60s, and 70s from all them damn airplane crashes. Some airplanes you get on, some airplanes you don't, right? Well, medicine is bad. No, some medicine is good, some medicine isn't. But when greed runs the show, there's going to be a far more medicine is going to do harm than good. Far more vaccines are going to do harm than do good. Far more everything will do more harm because they don't have to worry about the harm. It's all about making money. A lot of these deadly viruses were engineered just like our society. I believe that, Ty, because they've been working on biological weapons for a long time. That's why the government shouldn't have any truths. The truth is, the truth is out there and it's hidden in plain sight. Yes, Amy, a great place to put it, because nobody will ever look there. Also, you can hide the truth in laws. They don't look in the laws either. They look at the name of the law. They love the name of the law, and they won't read the law. You start reading the laws, which is why I walked out of activism and politics a long time ago, because I actually started reading the laws, and I realized that they're lying. They're lying about it. All they do is they take a problem that you want to go away and they make an industry out of it. Barry said it's unbelievable. It's not, you know what? It's unbelievable, but it's profitable. It's sick. It's mentally ill. It's insanity. And we keep it. But nothing surprises me anymore, Mary Gomez. Nothing. Everything people put in front of me, I'm like, yeah, really? I saw the other day, Mary. I saw lasers coming out of the sky starting the California wildfires. I don't deny anything. I just like, oh, wow, that's crazy. You know, why I'm going to fight with, that's Photoshop. Why am I going to do that? Why am I going to do that? I know we do eviler things. We've done evil, and we do other eviler things today. So I just look at it like, you know what? Government shouldn't have secrets. So I don't deny anything. Everything to me is believable, because if somebody can make profit from it, if an industry can make billions from it, they can steal land from it, everything's plausible to me. Don't start this direct energy weapon stating fire nonsense. It's a tinderbox with high winds down there. That's what Danielle said. That was her analysis. Me, I have to say, Ivana, I don't know. I'm not there, not watching, not even look at the news. In America, I don't even know what's, so, you know, usually I like to just make definitive statements on things that I know. So I don't actually know what's happening there. So I just sit back and say, you know what? It's plausible. You know, because you look at the questions is, you know, do we make messes? Yes. Are those messes profitable? Yes. Can corporations buy our government? Yes. Does geoengineering exist? Yes. Does our government have secret militarized weapons that nobody knows about? Yes. And does that mean that they're actually causing the wildfires? Nobody has any damn clue, because we're all stupid. We're not stupid. We're all just kept ignorant. We're all kept ignorant about what our government's up to. And that's what we all have in common, whether you believe it's whether it's lasers or brush fire. We all have one thing in common: militarized nations that they make a large portion of their GDP on making weapons and starting wars cannot have any damn secrets. That's it. Can't have any secrets. You haven't earned them. HARP, CERN, geoengineering, sun simulator, patents, all of the info's out there for so much. They don't patent things unless it's going to be for a sure thing. Yep, Ty, and the patent office is a great place to look. The only problem with the patent office is that when your patent goes there, I think with the military industrial complex, they get first whack at it. And if they can kill somebody with it, then you can't make those solar panels because they can kill somebody with it. Then I think they had the energy block where if it created more than 20% of an energy jump than what an existing technology is, they would immediately deny the patent or something like that, because they said it would cause, it was an issue of national defense, that it would collapse the energy industry. Something crazy like that I read a while ago, and it was an actual act, it was a law. But they write dumb stuff like that because corporations run our government. That's why everything's believable to me. I just look at it like, yeah, you know what, hey, maybe believable is a strong word. Everything to me, it fits on a scale of plausibility. I just look at the surrounding factors. I know that I'm always being lied to, and I ask myself, is it plausible? And at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is highly plausible. A lot of stuff is lowly plausible. But in a world where we're always lied to, I think making stances that we know is a bad idea. It perpetuates the problem more than just saying, you know what, I'm not sure. Maybe we need to get the details. Do aliens exist and alien crafts? I don't know. Did the FBI ever write a report to, well, who was it, Hoover? That said that 3 alien crafts crashed and they recovered like a couple bodies in each? Did an FBI officer ever make that report and send it to Hoover? That's a good question. I was reading it last night. So there you go. You know, but we don't know anything. We don't know anything. All we know is a big universe. And we're fighting over a lot of silly little minerals down here. It's a bad idea. Sure, corporations are not people, but they need protection against a corrupt Congress. Multinational corporations do not need protection. They control Congress, taking away. Okay, I see where you're going with that, Wendy. So, and I agree with that. Small business needs protection. Maybe even mid-sized business needs protection. Multinational corporations should not exist. Why? Because they buy governments. So I agree with that. I agree with small business. But at a certain point, you become harmful to the environment. All big corporations are all non-profitable. None of them make any profit. They do more harm to the environment and people than in problems they solve. So I don't believe big corporations should exist. Corporations control American Cancer Society. Exactly, Vernon. That's why so many people have cancer. Why? Because they took the problem and they made it profitable. They started a war on cancer. So now there's an industry based in cancer existing and it not being solved. Magically, it's not solvable. You know, but people all over the world, like the doctor in Germany, Dr. Sebi in New York, they solved it, but you don't really hear much about them. You know, cancer is a business, and no, they don't want it cured. Direct energy weapons, absolutely plausible. I wouldn't put anything past these staff. And that's my position, Brother James. That's my position. You know, I looked at all the factors and say, it's possible, you know, but we need to know the truth. And we, you know, killing people shouldn't be legal. Right? That's a bad idea. The legalization of murdering people and putting them in cages is a bad idea. That's why I can't be in a political party, because they kill too many people. I think that we need to focus on the next generation. If you can think of it, it's most likely exist. I'll never say I know something for certain. And you stop growing and learning. Okay, right. That's why I always say I think, Todd. I always say I think, because I don't know. And I don't have any interest in arguing with anybody who feels they know. Especially if it's a middle issue, Are the laws racist? Maybe. I don't know. I read some laws that were focused on the poor and the poorest people in certain communities. They tend to be this, that, or the other, you know, but they also tend to be that, and the other that you say that you didn't see in your community, right? So to me, it's not about arguing if the laws are racist. It's just about saying, you know what, are the laws constitutional? Are they making a war on the poor by writing unconstitutional laws, making a mess for corporations? And to me, that's where the fight is. The struggle is never where your oppressor tells you it is. It's where you see for yourself with a little root cause analysis. So I think it's real simple. Usually if it's on TV, it's a lie, right? If the struggle comes to you from CNN, MSNBC, CBS, or Fox News, or the heads of anywhere, and the Democrats and the Republicans, 99.99999% of the time, it's why the problem exists. and you fighting the struggle the way they tell you to, it will perpetuate. Anyway, it's gotta go. It's Gerard. Love y'all. Y'all have a great day. We make our own messes. We need to start cleaning them up, but we gotta stop being stupid. I'm out of here.